Hello and welcome back to the channel of nonsense. You join me in the beautiful heartland of England next to the UK's biggest Weetabix factory for a first look in a studio at the new Kia Sportage. Now the thing is, this new one has been designed and developed in Europe for Europeans. I still identify as a European. There is a version of this car for the rest of the world, but this one is just for us. Now it's Kia's biggest selling car, the Sportage, so it's quite important. It's a family SUV that normal people buy, which is why I'm covering it. So anyway, let's head indoors and get stuck in. This doesn't look very new. Is this a new one? Oh shit, it's over there. Here it is then, and I don't know how I missed it because it's pretty bloomin' striking, isn't it? This is the 5th generation Kia Sportage. There's the first over there. I think it's fair to say that Kia's come quite far in terms of styling, hasn't it? Before I get cracking, I should say this one is still a kind of pre-production prototype, so it's not a UK spec car. The entry level one is going to be about 25 grand. This is basically a GT line, which will be about 28 grand, and the top spec will be about 33 grand, which will be a GT line S sort of thing. But I mean, it's pretty striking, isn't it? With these massive DRLs, you're not going to miss these at night. I've got the fog lights on as well because it looks cool. This is all part of Kia's new design language called Opposites United, which does sound a little bit like a shit football team, but it's basically edgy and apparently somehow inspired by nature's perfection and simplicity. I mean, I'm pretty genned up on my Attenborough stuff, but I don't think I've seen anything quite like this in his shows. Whatever, it's got a bold front end with this big grille which goes the whole width of the car. You've got the GT line badge there, you've got the new Kia logo which is brushed metal, which looks very good. And I mean, those boomerang LEDs are just a bit ridiculous, aren't they? The high spec versions of this car will get proper fancy matrix LED headlights, and the bumpers are different for this European version. We'll get some of the other differences between the rest of the world version in a minute. You get a two-tone roof because that's a cool thing that people do on SUVs now. Let's go around the side. It's around the side where you get the big difference between the European one and the rest of the worldy one, simply because here it's a lot shorter. So on the rest of the world one, there's an extra window here and it's extended out a bit further, but we don't need such massive cars in Europe. It has been decided by Kia. So we get a slightly shorter, more compact one, and it's a little bit less tall, quite a bit less long, and it's a little bit narrower as well for European roads. Around the back, you get these sharp dagger light rear tail light units, and this rear diffuser type thing down here. Quite like this green colour. It's a bit army-ish, it is a bit different, but yeah, it looks pretty striking. The big news really is that this is on a whole new platform, so new engineering underneath, so it's safer, stronger, stiffer, all the usual stuff that manufacturers do when they bring out a new version. And I just can't get over how far it's come, frankly, from the box on wheels to the thing that looks like it wants to eat your grandma. It's pretty cool. Right, anyway, let's have a proper poke round and I'll show you all the other bits and bobs on it. Lifting the bonnet on this mossy green monster reveals that this one is indeed a hybrid. So you're going to be able to get the new Sportage with basically a selection of 1.6 petrols and 1.6 diesels, and also a hybrid like this one which will have 230 horsepower, and a plug-in hybrid which will have 265 horsepower, a 32 mile range from a 14 kilowatt hour battery. This hybrid one's got a 1.5 kilowatt hour battery because obviously it charges itself going along, so you don't need a massive battery. We don't actually know which engines the UK is going to take yet, because that 1.6 petrol you can get with 150 horsepower in a manual, 180 horsepower with a dual clutch, and the diesels is 115 horsepower of a manual or 136 horsepower of a DCT. So it's up to the UK market to decide which ones they're going to take, but I think it's fair to say you'll definitely be able to get the hybrid and the PHEV as well, which should be pretty quick with 265 horsepower in a fairly smallish family SUV. But yeah, that's the bonnet shot done. Right, let's move on, do the boot. Right, round the back, one thing I didn't mention is you get this cool black bumpery bit down there amidst all the silver bits and obviously the body colour, the green stuff. Now I don't actually know how big the boot is because Kia doesn't know yet, but the last one was 467 litres and it depended if you got the mild hybrid one or not. But I think it's fair to say this is probably going to be a little bit bigger. It's quite a nice space, and you've got some under boot floor storage. How erotic, look at that. And you've got a 12-volt socket over here, which you can just about see, and you've got levers to fold the rear seats down like that, and they're split folding with a ski hatch in the middle as well. Not even a ski hatch, you can just fold the middle seat down. And yeah, it's pretty spacious. Right, let's have a look at the back seats of the new Sportage. Let's hop in. That is your space. Obviously you've got Isofix on the seats, and before I forget as well, you've got USBs on the backs of the front seats. Now I was in the Kia EV6 the other day that had USB-C, so it might well be that we get USB-Cs in the Sportage as well in the UK, but it's quite nice that they think of your kids needing to charge their iPads so they can play Angry Birds or whatever it's called this week. And being a German spec car, you've got places to hang your business suit on the back of the headrests, and you've also got places to hang your shopping bags there. Right, let's hop in and see how I fit with grunting. I've never been so lit in the back of a car. Right, I have got just enough headroom. I've probably got about an inch of headroom, so it's a little bit tight, but this does have a full panoramic sunroof, and I've got loads of knee room. Don't know if you can see that, but basically I fit fine, and there's loads of space under that seat for my feet. So yeah, big adults will fit in the back of the new Sportage. Although if they're much taller than 6'3", they might struggle a little bit for headroom. And I've got these lovely, almost ribbed for pleasure leather seats as well, because this is a GT line car. Right, let's go up front. Now you're probably thinking this new Sportage looks ridiculous from the outside and totally different to the old one. It's totally different inside as well, and there's a smorgasbord of technology, all the latest Kia stuff. So you get these two 12.3 inch screens. One is a digital driver's display and one is your central infotainment system, and the amount of tech in here is just ridiculous. But I need to show you this. It's on the EV6 as well. It's this twin haptic screen which changes. So there's your aircon controls and there's your shortcut buttons. So they've kind of got this little screen of buttons here, and these two outside knobs, if you look, they actually change function depending on what you're doing. But there are still regular physical buttons for heated seats, heated steering wheels, and all the parking sensors, cameras, and that kind of stuff. Now on this channel, I do keep saying that we're at this weird age where affordable cars are starting to really get the tech that was in Mercedes S-classes kind of 3 or 4 years ago. And look at this. That is obviously not a picture of a Sportage because it's a pre-production one. But as you're driving along, you can pan around the outside of the car and see your car as if there's a drone flying around it helping you park and avoid curbing your wheels. The engine's just fired up because the battery is dying in this car. But that is seriously cool, and there's loads of other kind of features like that. All the safety systems in this. There's kind of cruise control that can adjust your speed so it corners safely while on automatic cruise control. All kind of nut stuff that you just didn't used to get in cars at this price point, which is mental. I love it. And one other feature which I can't show you in the studio is that you can remote park it from the key. So you can creep it forwards and backwards into spaces from outside the car, which is nuts. So again, that's something you used to be able to do on German cars that cost £100,000. Now on plucky little South Korean SUVs. So yeah, given how popular these are, this is a real democratization of cool electronic shit. I like it. All right, that's enough of the inside. Let's round up. So there you have it, a quick walk around of the brand new European Kia Sportage. Now the looks might be divisive, but I think this makes the current Sportage look about as up to date as Susan Boyle's lingerie collection. This just looks cutting edge, and it's got all the latest tech. The interior seems really comfortable. I'm just intrigued to see how it drives. I'm very excited because these will be bloody everywhere in the UK as Kia's most popular car, and I think it's going to start looking like the future on British roads. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you liked this video, hit like. If you really liked it, hit subscribe. Leave me a comment calling me something in Korean that I'm not going to understand, and I will see you next time when I won't be in a studio with something that looks like that old thing over there. Goodbye.